Good afternoon, everybody. We can start taking these things off. Nice experience listening to the sound in a very, very different way. And that's how things are being done here today, very differently. Thank you, sir. There we go. Not everybody gets the opportunity to have the headphones taken off by an astronaut coming from behind stage. That's how things have changed here today. Good afternoon, everyone. No. Can we start this again? We are not online. This isn't a Zoom call. We're actually here face-to-face with one another. Come on. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you. I know, we've lost that social interaction part. Unless, I don't know, here in Cape Town, have you guys been socializing all along? Because you must see what it's been like elsewhere. It's like we've had to bash down the barrier and say, we're here, we're in the flesh, we're with one another, and it is so nice to do that. My name is Leanne Manus. I'm going to be your host for today, and I'm really, really looking forward to showing you what it is that we've unveiled to, we've been in Pretoria, we've been in Johannesburg, and now here we are in Cape Town. So, and then next stop, Cape Town again, and then Durban. So we're really getting this word out there and trying to show South Africa what innovative looks like, what it is to be innate. That's what you're going to find out today. So we're also being joined by some people online, and we're so happy that you could join us as well. So welcome to this launch, and thanks so much for tuning in today and for being a part of this. And I promise you, this is going to be an hour or so that you really are going to learn a lot, and you're going to be introduced to something that could be very, very revolutionary in the way that you do work. So I don't know, this is just a day that really is going to inspire you and inspire you in ways that I suppose has always been inside of us, but it's to try and get it out and to have somebody else do it for you. And where you sit back and you think to yourself, hang on, why haven't I been doing this all along? And that's kind of what this is all about, is something that's inside of us that is made so much more simple. I'm probably not saying it the right way, but believe me, when I introduce all of our speakers today, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, this has been a very, very tough year for everybody. That goes without saying. In fact, I'm going to push it to 2 very, very tough years, I think. Before even COVID, you know, financially things were looking really, really tough. Then, of course, COVID hit. And then it was looking to all of you guys out here. Someone like me who, you know, I've got my money with you. I need you to advise me as to what to do because things are just not looking too good. And it's your advice and whatever it is that you've told us that has got us through this. And that's a massive thing that you really need to understand, is navigating through these difficult things and how we look up to every single one of you. Well, today is about change. Everything has changed. I mean, I must say traveling has become something that, you know, traveling was always difficult for me. It just was, but now it's just become double the time and double the aggravation. Everything has changed. How do we make it easier? And that's what's about to happen today. Simple things made easier because it is all about service, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. All right, so just a couple of housekeeping rules before I introduce our speakers that are waiting for us backstage. So the QR code, you were all given a piece of paper as you arrived, just a little cardboard there, and that is the QR code. You'll find it very difficult if you haven't already scanned it, to scan it because of the blue light in the room. But so all you need to do is put your torch on your phone and then scan it, and it will launch a WhatsApp site. So basically you can just WhatsApp us a question, and we really want you to send some questions in. So obviously up front if you want to, but you'll find that afterwards there'll be a lot of questions that'll be coming through, and this is where I want you to get involved as well. And for those of you that are online, so the QR code is for everybody that's sitting in the room. Just take a picture of it, put your torch on, and it'll open up the WhatsApp, exactly what's happening over there. It's pretty simple, but it's very, very effective, and I'll get it as those questions do come through, which is really nice. For those of you that are watching us on Zoom, the chat function, I'm sure you're used to it by now. Pop your question into the chat function, and we will make sure that we do get it. There's Wi-Fi. I think it's quite simple. Just get onto the INN8, that's INN8, and that's the password as well, INN8, and then you'll get onto the Wi-Fi. All right, that's pretty much so it. It's Century City. That's the one that you have to connect onto with the password INN8. That's it. Those are the housekeeping rules. Otherwise, sit back, relax, enjoy, and just bask in what you're about to hear today, because I really think you're going to take so much away from it. So let me begin by introducing our, they were laughing at me because I do call them rock stars. I feel like they are rock stars. We've had such a nice couple of stops along the way, and it's been really nice getting to know everybody and getting to get the heart and soul behind this business. And these are the guys that are the heart and soul that I'm going to bring onto the stage. So first up, please everybody, welcome our CEO, Mickey.
Hi, Leanne.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Leanne.
Well, I'm not going to welcome you here. This is your hometown, so I suppose it's good to be home, right?
It's absolutely good to be home. Shucks, it's been a real on-tour whirlwind tour. It's so nice to be home and back in my own bed, nice and comfy.
Exactly. Tell me about it. Don't worry. Georgie said to me, must be quite different for you sleeping in a hospital bed. And I'm like, hospital bed? You mean a hotel bed? No, the hotel bed. But it sometimes does feel like a hospital bed when you're in a hotel. Michael is here with us. Let's introduce him, call him out. Michael is Head of Proposition and Marketing at INN8. Nice to see you, Michael.
Hi, Leanne.
We keep Michael very, very busy on stage here. All the questions. He seems to be the man with all the knowledge. So he grabs these questions and gives you a very good answer to everything. So nice to have you,
Happy
Michael.
to be here. Thanks, Leanne.
That's awesome. And then, of course, the lady who surprises me every day. Yesterday, I found out that she was like a, what, referee?
An international rugby referee.
No, but seriously, an international rugby referee. Today, I found out that she swims every day in these freezing waters without a wetsuit and with sharks. And met a whale. I mean, what is this? Georgie, you kill me. She just has it all. Georgina, everybody, welcome on stage.
Thanks, Leanne. Thanks so much.
I said to you yesterday, what else am I going to find out about you? I mean, this is one day at a time, hey?
I'm an open book, really.
Yeah, two more surprises coming my way. I got tomorrow and then Durban. So, yeah, it's great fun. Nice to be with all of you again. It really, really is. But, you know, I suppose the biggest question that everybody wants to know and what everyone has kind of wanted to know wherever we've gone is, what the heck are we doing here today?
So Leanne, we're about getting things done. And so I'm not going to blab along. We're here for one reason and one reason only today, to jump into the deep end and launch our onshore investment platform. You know, Leanne, about 4 or so years ago, a group of us got together and we had a vision. We had a vision to change the way investments are done, and that's what I believe we're doing here today, and that's what we're going to be doing in the future. We're going to be changing the way investments are done. You know, we started in 2018. We launched our offshore investment platform, you know, fully digital platform, game changer, I believe, in the SA market. And now we're bringing you guys the onshore platform. Something really different, something that's really going to simplify your lives, that's going to digitize your practices and really drive efficiencies in the things that you do. And so, yeah, I think, you know, get ready, those of you at home, you know, buckle your seatbelts if you're sitting on your chair, because it's going to be a great ride, I think, this afternoon.
Yeah, it is. And I must say, everybody has this this amazing sort of sense afterwards, because I think it's explained very, very clearly. And it's a very impressive vision. It is, and that's realistic. But what does change the way investments are done actually mean?
Look, we saw change on the horizon. We know that the systems that are out there today for platform businesses are old legacy systems, and we really wanted to bring technology to independent financial advisors that they deserve. And we knew it wasn't just about the tech. So we talk a lot about the tech, but we knew it wasn't just about the tech, that it's about really building a different business and reimagining the way that you can do business by really creating innate solutions. And so we've done that. We've taken a very strong advisor-centric approach to changing the way investments are done and doing things really differently.
Yeah, all right. So different and platforms, because we talk about this platform industry. And Michael, I'm going to call you in here because the platform is really at the heart of all of it. But a very important question is, this particular arena is very, very competitive. And some would even say that it's actually an overtraded space. So why? I mean, what difference are you trying to create between the advisors and the clients with this platform?
Absolutely. So, Leanne, it's been very interesting being in financial services in South Africa the last 15 or 20 years. There have been a few macro trends influencing how we do business, and one of those was the rise of independent asset managers as they've eaten up that market share of the traditional life company. The advent of the LISP, you know, the Category 3 license. In the old days, we talked about admin shops, you know, and lots of regulation came down the pipe in 15 years, you know, clean pricing and RDR and all that. And then the internet certainly has given unprecedented access to information for clients. So now their disclosures are much more ready to hand and easy to read. And so the admin shops of old have kind of morphed into a one-stop shop for advisors and their clients to get access to great investment products and many fund managers across the spectrum. And at the same time, the interesting thing is that we've noticed a tangible decline in the total cost to client. So as these trends all came together and the use of platforms rose, these days almost 3/4 of retail unit trusts are accessed via a platform. So this has been a long-standing trend for 15 years or so. And so we can see that platforms of the future will converge around technology and service, and I guess that's why we're here today.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly why we're here. But we're also here to talk specifically about the South African marketplace and how INN8 fits into it. So perhaps you can take that one, Mickey.
Yes, so Leanne, we fit slap bang into the independent financial advisor space. We can see from regulation that there's a divergence that's coming between financial advisors, those that we call independent and those that we call tied. And so we wanted to create a different smart solution that's really been purpose-built for the independent financial advisor. We've done this with world-class tech, but like I said, we've got this really, really strong human-centered approach and a different approach to the service model. And I think that's our real game changer for us, that service model that George is going to speak a little bit about later and that you guys can experience. And so we haven't built a business like our competitors where we make our clients do things the way we want them to do it. We've built a business where we do things the way you want us to do it, and that's fundamentally different.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that, and I love how you've listened to the needs and wants of financial advisors and incorporated into this, because a lot of the time people don't. Like you say, you will do business the way we want you to do business, not how you want to do business. I like that line. It's a good one. However, this is now, again, another confusing thing for me, because you talk about being independent and you talk about, this thing of being away from the way things are done. However, we've got to understand that you still fall into the Standard Bank Liberty stable. So how do you maintain all of this, and where do you fit in by being independent?
That's spot on, Leanne. We are part of the Standard Bank Group Liberty stable, but I think what's really different this time around is we've crafted our proposition and we've built a team to really deliver what independent financial advisors need. It's been built into this team's DNA, it's been built into our org structures, it's been built into how we behave, and I could probably go on and on and on, but I think let's listen to some of the leadership from the group and see what they have to say.
You require a unique service and support model, one that is responsive and collaborative, and bottom line, delivers real-time service. INN8 has designed and built its operational and support model with a high-tech, high-touch approach, using a single entry point for advisors into INN8.
We're very excited about the INN8 platform because it has been purpose-built for advisors and specifically the independent financial advisor community in South Africa. We recognize that IFAs require a unique model of delivery, support, and independence.
INN8 has an excess of 800 funds available on the platform, and it's growing, as well as multiple DFM providers. This gives you the freedom to drive your clients' investments according to your unique wealth planning approach. INN8 is changing the way investments are done, and as a group, we are hugely supportive of their ambitions and their business model.
All right, nice to hear it from the big bosses about the word independence. It makes it so nice. So I know that the last time I was here, we were doing a nice kind of preview for the staff and everybody that's worked tirelessly on this for going on for 4 years or a little bit more. And the whole time I was getting the name completely wrong. I was calling it Innovate, I was calling it INN8, I was calling it every name under the sun. And it is not the nicest way to get to know a team when you actually can't even say their name. So I've gotten it right now, but I think all of you might need to know what's behind the name. So, Georgina, help us out. Well, help everyone else. I'm getting good at this now.
No, you are. You're doing so well, Leanne, with it now. No, I mean, yeah, I've heard it called so many different things over the years since we came into being a few years ago. I've heard it called INN8, INN10, all sorts of different things. But I can categorically say it's called INN8. And really it comes from Latin origins, it meaning instinctive, intuitive, and characteristics that are really built into something. And I think that's really defines what INN8 is trying to do and what we're trying to be to our financial advisors, really integral to the way they do business. But I think over the years and certainly some of the developments that I can see in the short, medium and long term, INN8 isn't just going to be a platform brand. It's going to be much more important in the investment landscape. So just watch this space.
Yeah, I am. And talking about space, I haven't asked you this question yet. Why the astronaut? Because I've been trying to work it out and I haven't asked anyone the question yet. I love it. It's making for a good photograph for me.
It's just, I think the astronaut just really kind of epitomizes, trying to get out to outer space, do something really different, be human as well. I mean, inside every astronaut is a human being that's walking around and that's what we're trying to be is, superhuman, but human as well.
I love that. I love that.
George, back at the beginning when we did our first offshore campaign, we used an image of an astronaut as this kind of striving for the stars, shooting for the moon kind of theme. And one day, a few months later, it worked so well, our marketing guys just said, well, shall we make a suit?
Yeah.
And next thing you knew, we had a guy in a suit at a marketing event. So it was, he's just become part of our DNA, I think.
And I think it's fantastic. And please, can I ask you a favor? Can Mickey please borrow it to Halloween? I mean, he's too shy to ask you, but whoever's the decision maker on this costume, he said he's going to have to pull rank. I'm like, dude, you're the CEO. You can wear that for Halloween.
It's Halloween one of these days. I need something to wear.
Yeah, exactly. You can wear it. Okay, back to business. So we talk about this purpose built because that's what this is all about. I mean, that's the kind of slogan. That's the selling point of all of this. As a head of marketing, and you are here to define the positioning about all of this. Purpose-built, advisor-inspired. Help me out a little bit more. Talk to us about those particular two phrases.
Yeah. So, Leanne, the starting point was really that everything we do is centered around a financial advisor and their business. And we want to work in a way that fits seamlessly in with the way that they execute on their advice processes. And so we know that if advisors are more efficient in the way that they execute on their advice, then they can see more clients and deliver better service to their clients. And ultimately, we all have grannies and grandpas. And I guess the reason that I wake up and get out of bed in the morning is I want my grannies and grandpas to have more dignity in retirement. And so if I can help advisors be more efficient and effective, they can give better advice to all their clients, and hopefully they end up with lots more dignity in retirement. And so, that's really where Advisor Inspired comes from, because we actually ran some design sessions where we asked advisors where their pain points are, and then took those insights back to our design process and tried to workshop them and solve those pain points. And so that's really where Advisor Inspired and Purpose Built comes from, because by removing the complexity and leveraging the technology, we really can build from the ground up a great solution for advisors.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good thing to do. But when we talk about listening, and you were speaking to the advisors and you actually asked them what they need. So it's about having your finger on the pulse. But how did you do that? How did that whole process work?
Yeah, you're right, Leanne. So, there's purpose-built and then there's advisor-inspired. And I think really for the first time in South Africa, we really did take that incredibly seriously. We took a blank sheet of paper and said, well, we want to just design a platform from scratch, from the outside in. And, that's so important, because we got a whole load of advisors in a room and asked them over multiple engagements, over multiple months, does this work? Could this be done better? How does that feel? Should that button be there? And it was brilliant. And what's different about that is traditionally in this industry, platform providers have taken their existing tech and just hammered it around a bit and then sort of done what they think they should, the advisors might like, and then sort of made the best of it. And here we did something totally different and built it from scratch. And to every one of those advisors that helped us, and I can see quite a few of you in the room today, thank you so much. We owe you such a debt of gratitude for getting us to where we are today.
Yeah, but I'm sure you had some fun along the way. I mean, if I've gathered one thing about you guys is that it's not only about work, there's some play that's thrown in here and there.
Listen, it's never all about work with me, Leanne. There's certainly plenty of fun to be had along the way. And fun as a team, fun with our advisors. And I think by listening to our advisors and hearing about, the things that they would get value from, we designed a whole load of different engagements. I mean, you can see a whole load of them here. And and really kind of just designed the things that would add value to their lives. And I'm thinking back to way before lockdown, we had a series of dinners with some fantastic speakers, really engaging and inspiring and mind-expanding discussion that we had at those dinners. And two that really spring to mind are Max Dupre, the political analyst, and Wayne Duvenage, the civil rights activist. I mean, they were just brilliant dinners and so much fun. And then, of course, lockdown hit. And that was really difficult because we created this intimacy with advisors. And we thought, well, how can we continue with that intimacy? But we're in a remote environment now. But luckily, Steve Backhouse had already started to take up the mantle. And he'd already started his In the Room series, where he was speaking on a monthly basis to asset managers and just really relevant conversations for what was going on at the time. And we were also already using our webinar capacity to connect with international experts like LinkedIn specialist Phil Calvert in the UK. So we were already in that world, and we just expanded it further. And then Jen and I stepped into the breach of technical explanations. And you know, I looked at her when she said, I think we should do something on RDR. And I thought, whoa, okay, are you sure it's going to be interesting? And actually, there have been knockout sessions. We've really had fun going through some really technical stuff, T-Day, financial immigration, some really good stuff. And then there comes to my favorite one, and I think you've probably seen him. There he is, flashing up. That was one of my favorite webinars we did with Wayne Barnes, the #1 rugby referee. Thank you to those of you who chirped in when I was interviewing him. He's such a great guy, and we had such fun. And what's really exciting about all of this is the fact that we are having such an influence on the advisors that we look after, whether it's in the way they use the platform or the information that we share. And it's such an exciting place to be that.
I love that. I really do. But you forgot to throw in, I called up one of my best friends, Imagine doing that. That's pretty damn cool, I have to tell you. So this platform, Michael, you're talking about it being user-friendly, not user-friendly really, but I suppose it is. I mean, that goes without say, obviously, for anybody that knows this and how it works. But the whole idea is to make a difference to an advisor's life. And how? How does it do that?
So I guess, Leanne, the 21st century advisor wants to do more with less. Running a business is tough. Being an entrepreneur is really difficult. And so any efficiency gains that you can make in your processes can certainly drop straight down to the bottom line for your financial advice business. And so that's where we really tried to unlock the pain points, was removing the inefficiencies in the processes. And one of those was eliminating the need to recapture information. I guess I could sit here and tell you all about it all day, but let's rather just take a look.
I met over Zoom with my Cape Town-based client this morning. After a quick catch-up and chat about her finances, I decided it was time to load her onto the INN8 platform. The platform allows me to easily create a prospect client by entering 5 key pieces of information into the system. Her email address becomes her unique identifier, and her ID number is used for verification purposes. Once she is added as a client, I create a quick quote through a simple process. First, I select the right product type for my client from the list available. In this case, we're going with an investment account. I've then chosen a lump sum contribution, but a recurring contribution or a transfer are also available options. Under asset allocation, I choose the funds or model portfolio. And it's really useful that each fund has its own set of information quick links that I can use to demonstrate to my client how a fund performs against others or a benchmark I have chosen. I then add a regular withdrawal amount and complete the process. The quick quote is automatically saved on the platform, and I share the investment proposal with my client for her to review. When my client gives me the go-ahead, I can resume the process and convert to new business.
So you can see, Leanne, we've tried to make loading a new business and a new client on the platform as seamless as possible. I mean, George, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic. I mean, those clean and easy screens to help you navigate through the journeys, I think, are great. And it only takes 5 pieces of information to get you to a point where you can generate an investment proposal. And there's 7 products available on the platform. There's the discretionary investment account, as you saw there. There's the tax-free savings account, the retirement annuity, preservation fund, the living annuity, the endowment, and the sinking fund. I'm getting really good at this now.
The distribution folks know the product.
Yes, absolutely. And really, it's everything to help your client invest for the now and the future, really. So once you've generated your investment proposal, you can easily share that with your clients. And I hope that when you see it, and you'll see it throughout all our work that we do on the platform, you'll notice that the language is really plain and simple. And that's a pillar that we stand behind. We want your clients not to be baffled by jargon. We want them to know what you're doing with their money. And we think that's really important. So let's take a look at what happens when your client accepts their investment proposal.
Because we're working with an existing client, my paraplanner was able to fill in all of the static information required and convert the quick quote into new business. All I need to do now is finalize the transaction. After a quick client search, I enter the date range to bring up the proposal, and completing the process is as easy as clicking resume. I review the work and have the option to edit the investment proposal if anything has changed. Happy with what's there, I agree to the terms and conditions. Once confirmed, I can easily upload the required FICA documentation, and this information is automatically used behind the scenes to perform AML and risk checks and ratings on my client. It's taken only a few minutes for me to review my client's investment and submit her application. All this with no paperwork, no email trail, no wet signatures, and most importantly, no client investment delays.
And so what I love about that process is that adding new business is so simple, but some of those difficult steps that we found advisors sometimes struggle with, for example, client wants to change the fee slightly, or you want to amend a fund choice, you simply just go back into the quote, edit the one parameter, and it's all there for you. You don't have to rekey all the information. And that's where one of the efficiency gains come from. The other thing is there's no paper. So no more searching around your desk trying to look for that key piece of information. You get to your client's piece of business just by searching on their name or the transaction type in the search bar, and it takes you straight there. No need to run to the coffee shop to get a wet signature on a coffee stand app form anymore. So, no need to rekey information for future journeys. So we showed you the new business journey, but same with top-ups and withdrawals. The client information is there, and you just fill in any additional information required to complete that particular journey. And hopefully, that gives you the accuracy and speed and business efficiency that we're looking for you.
Mike, we're all about efficiency. We're all about helping advisors do more with less. And I think the journey that, for me, really speaks to how we've really demonstrated that is the withdrawal journey. What does a client care about? They care about getting their money, and they care about getting it quickly. And your client can be anywhere in the world and instruct you to put through a withdrawal. And it's possible that that withdrawal can be paid out later that day. But let's take a look.
After receiving a WhatsApp from another client requesting an urgent withdrawal from one of their investment accounts, I quickly action this via the platform. I search for my client, navigate into their account overview, and choose the investment from which the withdrawal needs to be made. As I insert the percentage or amount, the estimated capital gain or loss is indicated in the column and a total amount in the summary box below, so I can let my client know. My client's bank details were confirmed when they first opened their INN8 account, so no further verification is required. As soon as I confirm the transaction, the withdrawal process begins and same-day pricing applies because the submission was made before 1 p.m. Both my client and I are able to keep an eye on the progress of the withdrawal via the status column under latest activities. Simple as that.
Mike, for me, it's such a game changer, that one. I was talking to an advisor yesterday in Pretoria, and I said, how are you finding the platform? And he said, I use it because it's easy. And that was everything for me. That is exactly what we've tried to achieve here. So being digital, there's no paper at all. It means that you can be anywhere, your client can be anywhere, and you can work your way through any journey remotely, which is superb. The quick search filter, which can help you choose between looking for transactions and looking for clients, is really useful. It's just like internet banking, really. If you can do that, you can certainly do this. And I hope you noticed the capital gains estimator as well. No more flicking between screens to try to work out what it should be or going into an external calculator to work it out. It's all built in the journey. And the same if you want to do a top-up or a switch. It's the same kind of feel. The website and the platform will guide you through screen by screen to help you get to where you need to be. And it's quick and simple. You just can't go wrong.
So George, I think that's a great segue, and Mike, to talk a little bit about, what the platform means for clients, because let's be honest, that's why we're here, to service and support clients. And we know that clients really want more control, they want more insight, and that's what INN8 does. INN8 gives clients that confidence to be in the know. However, something that's very important is INN8 doesn't put the independent financial advisor on the side. It actually keeps them connected. So all decision-making, all execution, all work must still be done by the financial advisor. Client really gets to see the viewing rights, gets to see what's going on, gets the confidence that they need. So let's take a look at some of the client journeys.
Once my client is fully onboarded, they can log into their own account for an overview of their investments that I've made on their behalf through the platform. If any outstanding documents are required for a transaction to be completed, my client can directly upload them to the Secure Documents folder so the process can continue. I also have access to these documents so I can review them and save them to my records if I need to. While clients don't transact directly on the platform, I know that my clients appreciate being able to log in and check on the status of their transactions. The simplicity and usability of the client interface ensures that my client is always informed and in control.
So really some easy, simple stuff that you can see there, Mike. And I think, that video really gets to the heart of the client experience. It's so simple, guys. It's so intuitive. It's so easy to navigate. It really makes life easy for clients. And so they don't end up, calling you all the time and creating work in your office. I think another thing that's really important, and I don't know if you saw, is that Secure Documents folder. If anyone's got a filing system like mine, which is no filing system, a Secure Documents folder really, really makes life easy. I think about, having to log into an email when I need something, then now with Popia having to put in my ID number and then getting it wrong because I've got these fat fingers. and it really becomes a pain. Now I've got one place to go, everything's there, I put everything there, and it's really, really easy. And I think the last thing for me really is that simple plain language that George spoke about earlier. It's really easy for clients to understand. There is no jargon, and so we just want to make things simpler, easier.
I've always wanted to say this, but wait, there's more. And that's the model portfolio functionality, Mick. You mentioned the world-class tech, and that's really where part of this platform comes alive because, well, I could go on about it, but let's just take a look.
As an advisor with a Cat 2 license, I can log into the platform that INN8 has built for managing my model portfolios. Thanks to the open fund architecture, creating a model portfolio is really simple. I often use the fund research tool so I can better understand and compare portfolios and investments. Once created, I can publish the model portfolio to the advisors within my firm. It then becomes a simple task to edit and even rebalance the model. For clients that need to be excluded from the rebalance, I can engage with their advisor beforehand and exclude them by deselecting them from a pre-populated list. The cool thing about this platform is that I can submit rebalance instructions on any day of the month. And with smart queuing, there are no window trading times, so instructions are processed to the market at the earliest possible time.
I love the fact that she said cool, because it really is cool. So if you're a DFM or a Category 2 advisor that runs model portfolios, it's very simple to create and publish these models to the firms linked to your DFM profile, or if you're a Cat 2 advisor, to other advisors within your firm. And never mind rebalancing and creating and naming models, that's kind of basic stuff. But something that the video glossed over quite quickly was the ability to deselect clients on the fly from a rebalance. The old days is like an Excel spreadsheet sent through to some back office. So that's all automated and kind of at your fingertips. And because not all investment ideas are created equal, you can clone a model portfolio, make a few tweaks, and then publish it to an advisor firm so that it's just right for them. And that, the DFM advisor-client relationship becomes really powerful.
Guys, this has really been a whirlwind tour of some of the things this team has built. And really the tip of the iceberg of what you can do on the INN8 platform, from things like managing your advice fees, keeping track of income annuity payments, using our Reg 28 calculators to see where breaches are and how you need to reblend things. Some of our research tools, you would have seen some of them on screen there, like our investment screener, portfolio X-ray, portfolio compare. This really gives you the ability at your fingertips to service clients the way they should be serviced. And that's what we're here to do, to make life easy, to do these things and service our clients.
Amazing. I love that. I really do, because that's really what it's all about, is this platform. And I'm glad you took the time to show everybody how it works and what it's all about. But so we've got this platform, and that's really the big thing. So let's now enter into the service model and the rally cry for everybody to get into this and to work with this whole advisor-inspired model.
Yeah, Leanne, absolutely. I mean, I love talking about the service model because it's something I'm so passionate about. And this is where I think INN8 has really done something really superb. You see, traditionally, client servicing sits somewhere way back there, hidden in operations. You never see them, But what we've done is we've brought them all the way to the front. They're in the distribution team. They're in my team. And what that means, for a start, is anyone that's ever worked in distribution will know there's just nowhere to hide. And that's really important. And then the other thing is, of course, is you've got just one person on the hook, which is me. So I can actually keep control and keep an oversight as to how things are working for you. And then I can talk about these wonderful key account managers or client servicing people that we have sitting with us and helping our BDMs in the field, the guys and they work hand in glove together, and that's really important. But that's not all. For me, the two things that really set these key account managers apart, one is knowledge. There is nothing worse than phoning someone up and then phoning another person up, asking the same question and getting two different answers, and I can't bear it. And I can categorically say that shouldn't happen with us, and it won't happen with us. And the reason I can say that so confidently is because our CAMs have been integral to the design, the build, the implementation, the testing of this platform. They know it inside out, upside down, back to front. There is nothing that they don't know. And in actual fact, I'd probably say they're probably the most knowledgeable people we have in our platform space. And then the second reason that I think they're amazing is because they really, really care. And I hope those of you in the audience who've perhaps experienced our INN8 servicing model can back me up here. It really is a step above what I think you've experienced elsewhere. But you don't need me to keep rambling on and telling you about it. Let's meet the guys.
Hello, I'm Sumaya. I manage INN8's key account managers, commonly referred to as the CAMs. We're all about service and managing your experience. Once you are a part of the INN8 tribe, your personal CAM is your first stop for when you have a question, need a hand, or even have a suggestion on how we can improve the platform. Let's meet the rest of the team.
Hi, I'm Noma, aka the Information Hub. We have Gio, the troubleshooter. Mary, how can I help you as a person? Mametsi, the insightful sage. And Akona, the consummate pro. Together, we form your one-stop shop for servicing. Our promise to you is insightfulness, collaboration, and responsive delivery.
You need to know how to process a transfer to INN8 via Section 14, or maybe whether a tax directive is required after you've transferred your LA to INN8 via Directive 135. What about understanding why your income paid is a different amount from last year, even though your annuity income percentages remain the same? Well, that's what we do here. We deal with a wide range of advisor instructions and queries, from new business, withdrawals and switches, to income, tax, and fund performance. We have the answers you need.
Yes, our shop sells one thing, service. And not just any service, but exceptional service. And not just any exceptional service, but innate service. Every day, we aim to ensure you receive personalized exceptional service by providing you with quick responses, accurate information, and reliable solutions for you and your clients. We don't believe one size fits all either. For example, you might prefer a high-touch engagement model, or you might just require summary emails and no calls ever. We tailor our service for each financial advisor.
But we can't do it alone. In order for us to run as a well-oiled machine, we require collaborative work with the various departments within INN8. Our IT team ensures our systems are well-functioning for a seamless journey. Our proposition team provides product knowledge and insights so we can provide accurate information at all times. Our operations team ensures all instructions are processed timelessly and as smooth as possible. And not forgetting our business development team that connects us with you. We leverage our relationships with the various departments to give you the most efficient solution to your query.
So what are you waiting for? Get in touch today. To contact us, you can email hello@innate.co.za or call us on 0860 004 668 between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on any business day. And to find out more about our investment platform, you're welcome to visit our website at www.innate.co.za.
We cannot wait to connect with you and have you a part of our journey in changing the way investments are done. See you online. Bye.
Bye.
And Leanne, you know, Sumaya and some of her team are here today, so please feel free to say hello and get to know them a bit better.
Yeah, I think Mary, I don't know if it was Mary that was welcoming us at the door. Oh,
yeah.
You're gorgeous. I've been looking at that smile everywhere and just wanting to meet you properly. So it's so nice, and it's so lovely to meet the guys behind all of this, because that's what just makes it so authentic. All right, so Mickey, before we get into the questions, and this is again another reminder, please, we're going to get into the Q&A section now, where any of your questions that you'd like to send through, they are coming onto my phone, so I'm going to ask them straight away. Again, scan that QR code and WhatsApp that message through. For those of you that are watching online in the Zoom chat, that's what you have to do to send that through to us. So we're really looking forward to this interactive session. What does it mean to be a part of this tribe? At the end of the day, Mickey, because it's like what I've gathered. I mean, I feel like you guys are like a family in a way. I know I call it a tribe, but it's almost like a family.
Yeah, look, it's absolutely that. It's a family, it's a tribe. It's about people like us do things like this, and that's what we want to do here. We wanted to create a place where the independent financial advisor could belong, you know, where there's a connected community and where you can bring shared interests, shared connections, and really come together to build a better understanding, to help each other, to support each other, and to create this tribe. And so we've sat with you guys, we've listened, we've learned. Thank you very much. We've created, and we've created an environment that supports the independent financial advisor in a way that you guys want to be supported. And so for me, this tribe, this family, it's about being, connected, it's about being insightful, and it's about our community, really.
Yeah. Listened is important. It's a very, very important, and then created after listening. All right, so Michael, how does the tribe experience come alive?
This is the fun part for me, really. INN8 was born online. We were doing webinars well before COVID hit, which felt like 50 years ago. And I guess part of those webinars was trying to bring technical expertise to the advisor to help financial advisors make sensible investment decisions from an investment perspective, but also around their business and how to mitigate regulatory risk and that sort of thing. And there were some rules around those engagements. We said no slides. We wanted to make sure we had Q&A sessions. And without going on too much about it, because we'd love to hear from the people who host them themselves. And so maybe just give a warm welcome to Jennifer Anderson. Jennifer Anderson is our technical guru, and she's going to come up on stage and join us. And then also Stephen Backhouse, who hosts our monthly In the Room series.
Welcome to both of you. Good to see you here with us. So this In the Room series looks fantastic. I must say I haven't had the opportunity to watch some of them, which, by the way, they're all available on www.INN8.co.za. You can download them, watch them for free. That's something you need to put out there, because some of the content out there is just phenomenal. So, Stephen, talk to us a little bit about these sessions that you've got.
Yeah, afternoon, Leanne, and afternoon all. Yeah, first of all, they're lots of fun, to be honest. And essentially what they are, an interactive webinar series with the various asset managers locally and globally. And we started these back in 2019, so pre-COVID, pre-lockdown, I think as Mark alluded to. And the idea was actually to go to the asset managers' kind of offices, their premises, and actually get a sense of what they're really about. And one of the first one we did was with Resco, and I chatted to Simon Sylvester and Rob Spaniard in their beautiful offices in Catherine Street, Sandton. And, I walked in, I think, at 9 o'clock or 8:30 in the morning, expecting the traditional asset management kind of setup, and it was completely different. It actually had a real fintech feel to it. And actually, something I haven't mentioned before is that one of the analysts in the business actually had a piano in the corner.
Oh, wow.
That he used to put his headphones on and play to himself. So again, quite eccentric, but that's kind of what he was passionate about, and so they let him do it. And also, but in the actual conversation, this fintech feel came through, is because it was also about how they embraced kind of AI and machine learning, and brought it into the investment process. And again, I think for me, I got a real feel about the business, and the feedback from the audience was that they also did. So it is, yeah.
It's awesome. Can you imagine having a piano in the corner of your office and everybody just watching you? Leave him, shame.
He was quite different.
Yeah, he likes to play. Leave him. Thank goodness it wasn't a drum set. That's always a good thing. But that is really nice. I mean, you don't hear that often. It obviously is an interactive webinar, so people get the opportunity, like I'm hoping you're all doing now, to ask questions as well. But how did it work for you? Is it pretty much the same way?
Yeah, so again, as Mark mentioned, our rules when we brief the asset managers and the investment professionals is no slides. And again, when you say that, they go, oh, no. We want to present back with slides with graphs and data, because that's how we tell our story. Yeah. And again, I says no, we want to have a conversation. We don't want, and actually I'm going to interrupt you. I'm probably going to get you out your step a bit, but again, I want to make sure that we can have the conversation that our advisors and clients can actually understand. And I think an example is with Keelan and Nessie from the Standard Property franchise, he's a really good presenter and tells really good stories. And you say, this is what we're going to do, and you say, oh, okay, fine. But again, we actually get into that conversation, a real rich conversation. And we spoke about trends, this is now pre-lockdowns in Feb last year. We spoke about the trends that are on the horizon, things like flexible working space, industrial warehousing for e-commerce, data warehouses for data, the big trends coming. And then you fast forward to May last year. Now we're in lockdown, the world's in lockdown, and I chatted to a guy called Tom Walker from Schroders, who looks after the real estate portfolio there, and he spoke about the same things, which was fascinating, but they just accelerated and fast-forwarded. And again, we see it now. So again, they're fun conversations, and the feedback we get from the audience is really cool. And then lastly is the Q&A bit. So again, what we're doing today is literally on the half an hour, the webinar's an hour, on the half an hour, I've stopped the speaker, and I say, okay, now we're going to invite the audience to ask their questions. And the audience then is literally able to pose questions that they've got, and it's almost like they're speaking to the portfolio manager, and they answer it, which again, the audience really does enjoy.
Yeah, you didn't mention the one story, and this was for me quite funny, but it wasn't necessarily the story, but you will say the story. I was, as I said to you earlier, the first time I came, we were doing like a dry run in front of the staff, and it was all exciting to get to know everybody, and I was still learning corporate culture and, you know, how it was all working here. So what happened was Jen and Stephen were virtually. They weren't with us here. They weren't at this particular one. They were online. So, you know, the signal was there. And then, you know, coming and going. And then Stephen played reference to one of the nicest things he did, or conversation, or whatever he said was so nice, was it was dodging cocks. And blah, 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 blah. And now this like stuck in my head. I'm like, dodging cocks? What kind of a company is this that they were dodging cocks? But anyway, it had nothing to do with dodging cocks. It was Dodge and Cox.
Dodging cocks.
Which
Brian
I have
Cameron.
now learnt to hold them in high respect and esteem. Not what I was just envisioning.
We probably won't have them back on now. Thanks.
I still love that story, though. I really do. I want to meet the men from Dodge and Cox. Jen, where do you fit into all of this? Because, I mean, you guys, I know, have had some brilliant conversations as well.
Thanks, Leanne. So as a business, we keep a really close eye on the regulation that's rolling out in our industry and things that we think are going to impact our advisors. And the webinars that I'm involved in are conversations aimed at sharing insights on anything big that we see taking shape in the industry. And I think what we tried to do really differently, and George joined me as my partner in crime on a lot of them, is typically you hear regulation and it's dry, it's boring, and it's theoretical and just difficult to absorb. So one of the things we've tried to do in the series is to keep it relevant, to keep it really practical for our advisors so that they can just take away, what does this mean for me? And we also try not to speculate on any upcoming regulation. We get asked about that a lot. We had a radio request the other day, but it's dangerous. So we really try to steer away from things that aren't clear yet. We wait until we've really got our hands around the thing and we understand it. And then we feel that we can have a conversation with our advisors that'll make a big difference to their lives. Yeah. And for me, the aim of those webinars really is twofold. So the first is to help our advisors, to enable you guys to have better conversations with your customers about the things they're asking, about the things that are changing out there. And the other side of the coin, the other thing, is to help advisors understand the impact that these changes could have on their businesses. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, indeed. It must be quite important. I mean, that was at the crux of it all. But examples of the kind of things that you may cover. Obviously, people wanting you to pull out the crystal balls and talk about these things, which is, as you say, a dangerous space to go. But what other things do you cover in the sessions?
Yeah, so we've covered some really interesting things. I think George may have mentioned some of them earlier. We did sessions on estate planning, investing offshore, the T-Day changes, which rolled out to Provident funds earlier this year. But I think something that's been a theme that we've really covered in quite a lot of detail is the RDR investment discussion papers that we saw. They came out about probably 2 years ago now. And we went into quite a lot of depth on those, and we helped advisors tackle things that I think were worrying a lot of people. So, for example, when this thing comes out, will I be restricted in terms of what I'm allowed to sell, what I'm not allowed to sell? I'm an advisor on more than one license. Is that going to be allowed? And a lot of conversations around the Category 2 license. Is that still going to exist? Will I still qualify to keep my Cat 2? And do I even need it, for example?
Yeah. So, I mean, what I've loved is the fact that you guys were ahead of the curve and, you know, talking to these Zoom things and online meetings and Teams and, you know, all of these kind of things that, for me, I thought they only came around when lockdown started, and that was the things we had to do. But you guys have been very much so ahead of the curve. So now we're moving into 2022. What are you going to do in terms of being, again, ahead of the curve? So what do we expect next year from you?
So, you know, with regulation, you never really know what's coming. But something that we're keeping a close watch on at the moment is the tax law amendment bill comes out every year, sort of around July. These guys know it's like one of my best days of the whole year. I'm like a kid in a candy store the day the T-Lab rolls out. And something that's a draft in that proposal this year is something around immigration and tax on retirement savings. And we've seen a lot of change in that space over the last few years. And if that change actually rolls into law the way it's drafted currently, I think it's going to be quite a big impact on a lot of people. And quite frankly, something that would worry someone if they were planning on moving overseas and had a lot of their money tied up in retirement savings, which, to be honest, is most of us.
Sure. All right. Very, very interesting. Your favorite day of the year? Seriously, guys, come on. I mean, It's a shame. We got to improve things a little. Like, I like my birthday and things like that. The tax amendment bills is one of your favorite days of the year. Okay, all right. Let me get into some questions now, because that's, I think, what we need to do. We need to talk questions. So I can already see quite a few coming through. So thanks so much to all of you that have done already brought them through. So here's one. Georgie, you're up first. I have a big book overall. Running my business on multiple platforms will be a problem. Will it be painful for me and my staff to transfer clients to INN8?
Well, Leanne, yeah. I mean, I can absolutely understand why people want to simplify and advisors want to get a lot of their assets into one or two platforms. It makes life a lot easier. You can take advantage of aggregated pricing for your clients and all sorts of other benefits. And you also get to know one service way of doing things as well. So I can absolutely understand, and we're seeing a lot of the market try to consolidate down to just a few providers. So yes, absolutely. Very happy to help advisors transfer business over. And I expect what may well be behind the question as well is you know, you may well have a reasonable sized book on our standard LISP platform as well. And what may be behind the question is, you know, how are you going to get me from my standard LISP place into the INN8 place? So what I'd say to advisors in that instance is try us, give us a go, see if you like us. And I know you're not just going to like us, you're going to love us. And once you get to that point, you're probably going to say to me or your BDM or your CAM, you know, right, help me get across. And what we want to do is really make that move across from StanLib as easy as possible. And there's a whole squad of people in our business making sure that works really seamlessly. But up until that point, we can do the odd re-registration across, but actually what we want is to make sure your service experience is superb, because you could at this point have a service experience that's standard LISP for your maintenance business that you're doing on standard LISP, and then you've got your new business going through INN8, and that's going to become really difficult for you. So we need to overcome that for you. And what we've done is we've said, right, all your standard LISP business, that can all come in through your CAM. So through your CAM and your BDM, they'll look after you there. So actually, it doesn't matter whether you are still placing business on standard LISP, you're placing business on INN8 local or INN8 offshore. It'll all come in through one entry point, which is hello at INN8 and the servicing team, that the CAMs that you met earlier. And your BDM will look after you as well. So it really takes any kind of pain of coming across to the new business away.
Mm. Another one coming through, and Jen, we had a similar question actually yesterday coming through as well. We've seen quite a bit of platforms restrict offshore exposure in their living annuitant and endowment products. Where is this coming from?
Thanks, Leanne. Yeah, it's a question that I think a lot of people are asking recently. We've certainly had conversations about it internally. And what's happening there is that when a client buys a living annuity or an endowment product, that asset actually sits on the balance sheet of the insurer who's the product provider for that product. And those insurers have a foreign allowance, which is the maximum amount of money they're allowed to hold offshore. And that foreign allowance is determined by quite a few things, but the size of their balance sheet, you know, the amount of assets that they hold in retail assets, etc. And what we're seeing playing out now, and I think it's fascinating, is that a lot of these product providers, these insurers, are starting to hit their foreign allowance cap. So they're either hitting it or they're getting close and they're looking forwards into the future and they're worried that they're going to hit it. And how they're managing that limit is they're almost passing that problem on to the investor and saying, you know, you need to reduce your offshore exposure in these products because otherwise we're gonna run out of foreign allowance. So luckily for us, we have Liberty under the hood as our insurer, and obviously it's something that we keep a really close eye on internally. And Liberty has more than enough foreign allowance remaining. So for us, our offshore products at least can remain fully open from that perspective.
Reassuring. That is pretty much so. You're reassuring. This is an interesting one, Michael. For you, this is coming. Blockchain and crypto are the buzzwords. I mean, that we've been hearing about this for a while. Is there value in financial services industry now?
Sure, that's a tough one. Well, I guess we've all seen Rassi with his Luno app, you know, tackling Bitcoin, and certainly Bitcoin's a bit racy to put on an investment platform today. But under the hood, our tech can support any number of different kinds of assets that price in different ways, and over the next few years, you'll see that evolve in terms of the asset universe. But actually the exciting part behind Bitcoin is not so much the currency or the asset. It's actually the technology, and part of that is called the distributed ledger. And for those who are not in the know, a distributed ledger it's kind of like an accounting system that everyone maintains in different places, and it's always correct all the time, and it's immutable, which means you can't hack it and change it for nefarious purposes. And so Bitcoin's been around for well over a decade, and what happens over 10 years is the technology that underpins things like Bitcoin gets synthesized and accommodated into off-the-shelf kind of solutions. And it was funny, I was just reading right before the show that Standard Bank's actually entered into a partnership exploring some of these blockchain-type implementations. And so these things are going mainstream, and within our own industry, FinSwitch are running a proof of concept around a distributed ledger. And what that can do is it can replace many of the manual processes where we have to match things to records. So unit recons, for example, cash recons, all those reconciliations can happen a lot faster and a lot cheaper. So hopefully, I'm hoping for clients in South Africa and around the world, you'll be able to remit funds a lot for a lot less cost, as well as access assets into the market. So buying ETFs and unit trusts and shares, you should be able to do that a lot more inexpensively in future.
Oh, interesting. All right. This one coming in for Stephen. I work for one of the larger advisor networks. How well is the INN8 platform positioned to enable our proposition?
Yeah, so we're actually doing it already for some of the networks. So we're able to house portfolios, model portfolios, as Mike showed the tool. And again, we're actually then able to then restrict those network type solutions to the network advisors. We're also chatting to a number of the networks, understanding their specific needs, and then putting that into kind of the build phase of the system, and again, and that will then enable their proposition a lot better. The nice thing about that as well is that we don't just go and we understand the needs. We don't just go and build it for one network. We actually build it for all. So if it's a type of solution or feature that actually suits all advisors, well, then they'll get the benefit, which I think is also really, really cool.
So we got to go back to Mickey purpose-built. So someone wants more of a practical explanation. What does it mean practically, technically, purpose-built, I beg your pardon, a purpose-built tech platform?
So thanks. Yeah, so I mean, I suppose I spoke a lot about purpose-built, and everyone will tell you things are purpose-built, and some of you know me in the audience, and I love cars, so I think the easiest way to explain is just use a car analogy. But purpose-built is really getting the right thing for the right job, or the right car for the right job. So you're never going to put a 4x4 around a racetrack and break a lap record. That's just ridiculous if you think it. You need a sports car. And that's exactly what this technology is. It's the sports car for what you guys are going to need. It's a sports car that's going to break those lap records for you in terms of the efficiencies in your business. And so that's what it is. It's purpose-built. We didn't take something and hammer it into shape and make it work. Like George said earlier, we started with a clean sheet, a blank page, and we purpose-built this thing specifically for you guys. And so that's what I mean when I say purpose-built.
Okay.
Right tool for the right job.
Okay, good, fair enough. Michael, this is an important one. What are the minimum contributions, single and monthly?
Mm-hmm. So there's no minimum lump sum or ongoing contribution amount. We do have a minimum fee. So it's on an annual basis, 276 Rand as a minimum fee. If you've got a small balance, that's what we'll charge you, which works out to about 23 Rand a month, the price of a cappuccino to maintain an account. And then, once your balance grows, you kick into a sliding scale, which is very, very, competitive. So I guess you have to focus on horses for courses. So your client who has 5,000 Rand to invest as a lump sum, they probably don't belong on a platform in the first place, where you've got so many different product options, so many different fund managers, model portfolios. This is really a wealth management solution. So you're hopefully looking for those clients with slightly larger average balances. But it doesn't mean that you can't service those smaller clients, because for the price of a cappuccino, you get access to a whole range of wealth management.
And if I might just jump in there, the aggregation that we've got actually makes it really accessible as well. And not only is it aggregation on the local platform, your offshore assets as well as a client will be taken into consideration in your local pricing.
That's right. Thanks, George.
I love the way I'm busy reading all these questions coming in. They're flooding in right now. I love the way I just have to tell you, in Pretoria, Michael gave the analogy of a Big Mac burger. Here he gives an analogy as the same price of a cappuccino. What's the story here?
Cape Town,
This is Cape Town.
Joburg.
There are no Big Mac. Okay, all right, no, got it. Or a streetwise special. I can't wait for that. I'm dying to know what you say in Durban. Okay. So here's a question quickly, George. There's lots coming through now. You mentioned quite a few products on the platform. What are the entry points for these, and can I access them with ease for my clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you saw the entry point. It's not paper. You haven't got... I was talking to an advisor the other day. There was something like a 17-page application form to get him and his client invested into the product that they wanted to go in. Here, it's straight into the website. You've got to choose between those products that we went through earlier. And it really is as simple as you saw there. And then each... depending on the product you want to go into, the journey will be crafted to make sure that the right information and the right journey is given to you. So there's different things that different products need. Yeah. So that's really where you go. I mean, it's really that simple. And then entry point into the platform per se. I mean, really just talk to our BDMs who are here. Give me a call. Very happy to help. I was only talking to one of my team just recently who went to see an advisor, new advisor, not met him before. And from the point of meeting that advisor, demo, returning the terms of business, and then getting that advisor set up on the platform, and then getting their first client invested was 3 days. That's how quick and easy it is.
That blows my mind.
Something just, sorry, George and Leanne, popped into my head. One of the things I think that Mark and team really did cool in the design is they built a platform that's license agnostic. So George spoke about the entry points and, that the journeys are slightly tailored. But the really cool thing is it's not the old way of doing things where the license sat in front and then you were restricted in terms of how you did things. Here, the platform sits in front and the platform is really license agnostic. And so, yes, you come in, yes, those journeys are tailored. But intuitively, it's all the same. And so what you can do in one product or offering, you can do in another, obviously regulation permitting, which makes things really simple. Because now you don't have to do one thing here and one thing here and one thing here. You can look at your clients' portfolios holistically across the various tax wrappers and blend and balance accordingly, I think, which is really great.
Yeah. Stephen, question coming for you. What is the approach to adding different model portfolios from the various discretionary fund managers in the industry? And can I add my preferred funds and fund classes?
So again, we actually have got a number of the DFMs on the platform already. So we're up to about, I think, 15 or so. And we've actually got really good relationships with the DFMs through kind of our Stanlib kind of relationships where a lot of the models are on. And the guys who aren't on it, we've been talking to, they're very keen to sign up. We're going through the process. I think, again, one of the really cool features is that we were able to go really slick process to add new funds and special fee classes. So a lot of the DFMs are able to negotiate kind of discounted fee classes with the various asset managers. We then add those funds onto the platform. And actually the guy who does it is Eddie, who's at the back today, and he's got a really cool slick process, get on quite quickly. And then we can restrict those funds and fee classes to the DFM, which obviously then the benefit goes to the client. We've pretty much up there with what we need to be doing with the DFMs.
And if I might just jump in as well, it's so important when you've made a partnership with a DFM as an advisor. That DFM needs to be working in an environment and in a platform that's really efficient and makes their world easier. And I think Mike went through some really cool stuff earlier in the way the model portfolio functionality has been built. And anything that makes the DFM's life easier makes the advisor's life easier. So it's a whole ecosystem of making life easier and 10xing for the advisor. So I think it's so important that you consider those relationships when you consider the platform you're thinking of using.
Just to add to that, George, Steve mentioned the multiple fee classes. So, this industry's evolved and platforms are very different from just accessing a single fund manager like we did 15 years ago. And so Stephen mentioned DFMs negotiating special fee deals with with fund managers, and that's all good and well, but they also come with some terms. So you can only be in those classes when you're in the model portfolio of the DFM, and many platforms can't accommodate that. Ours can. So you can be in the model, you can get access to that special fee, but if you choose as a client to move on from the advisor or the model portfolio, then there's a process to move you into the platform fee class of that particular fund, which if you're accessing directly, that's how it should be.
Cool. All right, Michael, again for you, how will investment returns and progress be reported or communicated?
Yeah, we didn't spend too much time on the reporting on the platform. There's some great kind of illustrative PDFs that you can do once your client has been on for a few months or so, which is called an investment review. And then we also leverage some of the Morningstar tools. So we showed you the links which get you into the kind of portfolio compare and Morningstar screener, etc. And that's from a fund research perspective. But when it comes to looking at what your clients' investments have actually done, inside the journeys, you can click X-ray and X-ray the actual client assets that they're holding. So you can see all the underlying assets and some of the fund returns versus a benchmark, etc. And it's quite customizable. You can choose what you want to put into the PDF, etc. So okay. We quite like that.
Mickey, I don't know if anyone wants to add, but Mickey, I have got a little bit more. Can my client log into his account via the website, or will there be an app?
So apps are really cool, but apps are also a little bit old, if you ask me. And the way we've built our platform is really to be future fit. And so what we've done is the technology that we use, whether you log in via a desk-based PC, whether it's via a Mac, whether it's via a mobile phone, or an iPad even, the technology is intuitive. It knows what device is being connected to it, and it'll resize things, it'll reshape things, it'll change fonts, it'll take some information away, it'll show some other information graphically. And so, yes, we don't have an app, but you don't need one with us. Because we've built something that really works across all environments, across all devices. And so you don't need to worry about your app not updating and burning your data. Just go in online, use your browsers that are on your devices, on your iPads, on your computers, and everything will work. It'll be intuitive, it'll be easy to read, and work for you.
Brilliant. So phone, no problem. Log in.
No problem.
And you're good. That's amazing. George, during your transactional walkthrough, you spoke about same-day payouts for clients, because that also blew my mind, I must say. How is this possible? Other platforms only pay my clients at least a day later.
Yeah, and it's through the functionality of what we call the product cash account. So there's a small amount of money that's held in a product cash account, and it really smooths the running of the platform, paying of fees, small payouts, and really enabling things like the DFM functionality, being able to rebalance at any time during the month. That's what the PCA does, the product cash account does. Now, if a client wants to withdraw an amount that's the same or less than is in the PCA, then it can be paid out the same day. In fact, again, I was only talking to an advisor yesterday who was completely blown away by this. Absolutely loved it. There are certain clients out there who just want small amounts quite regularly, and it does it.
Brilliant.
So just to, maybe I can add to that one, George, is that the access to the client's cash is really great because it's the same day. But the way we've built the platform and the way the tech works underneath is that we're not waiting for an overnight batch run. And so if you get your instruction and you want a bigger amount, you need to redeem some units, then that instruction can go to the market before 1 p.m. And the system actually aggregates and sends the instruction almost as if we're getting Manco pricing. So that, for those who are technical out there, it's a game changer for the industry, not having to wait for that overnight batch run to go.
Again, Michael, while I've got you speaking, will the client receive a welcome pack incorporating the advisor's info, and will INN8 communicate directly with clients?
Yeah, so we didn't spend too much time on the client initial login. So there is a process where client has to go on and accept some terms and conditions. We did show you the investment proposal, which is essentially your document, which encapsulates all the fees and terms and conditions. But the secure portal for the client is a very important part of this proposition, because we don't like to send client information via email. So there's no PDFs that you have to open. And anytime that something happens on your account, whether it's a switch or a withdrawal, client will get a notification to log in and check out any information in their secure documents folder. And obviously the advisor, you have access to that as well. So you know what's going on with the client, and so do they at any point in time.
So it's so important. That is so important. Stephen, in terms of the webinar series that you've got, INN8, do you see yourself going back to in-person events? I mean, you had such a nice time at the offices, or do you think it'll carry on just staying online, or will you have audiences like this if possible?
It's an interesting question. It's so, I mean, obviously this is an in-person event, so we definitely keen to get out there. But again, I think it depends. What will happen is, in my sense, is the In the Room series was very much also understanding the advisor's time. So they're an hour-long webinar where we know the guys are at their desk, they can watch it, they get the information they need from the fund manager. We talk about really cool topics and trends and themes, and it works really well for an In the Room series. That being said, is fast forward a year's time, our advisors are going to want to see us. We're going to want to see them. So absolutely, we'll go back to having face-to-face events, but I think it'll be a hybrid. So where you have some kind of webinar series, maybe like an In the Room, and then you'll have others where, like, for example, an asset management day or a roadshow or something like that, where we do face-to-face.
So lots of options and exciting opportunities ahead. Those are the questions I've got that have come through for now. I don't think there are any more in the room, unless there are, that I missed, but that's pretty much so all the questions that we've received, and thank you for sending them through, and for those of you that are watching us on Zoom as well. Let me leave it with you. Mickey, any closing words you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Leanne. So, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that whistle-stop tour. Thank you so much for coming and joining us in the room. It's really great to see some faces, see some warm bodies, and not just stare at a screen all day and put on weight.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. And then for those of you that are at home that took the time to join us, I hope you really enjoyed it. We're really grateful that you still came through and logged on. And thank you very much. We'll see you guys out there and use us, try us. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.